Hey, Ucan, what are you packing for? Oh, you're going on a trip across the solar system. Sounds fun. Hope you've got enough gas to make it that far. I think the solar system is pretty big. Ucan wants you to represent or show fractions on a number line. So what is an open number line anyways? Well, an open number line is a blank number line without any unit marks or numbers on it when you get started. All the numbers that are going to the right on your number line are getting bigger. And as the numbers move to the left on your number line, the numbers are getting smaller. The exciting thing about a number line is we can use it to show whole numbers, but we can also use it to show fractions or parts of a whole number. When we use an open number line to show fractions, we're talking about the distance between our whole numbers. Hey guys, you are going to need some scissors today so you can cut out your fraction strips. Let's do it. Ucan, according to your itinerary here, let me just look at this very closely. You're going to be heading to the moon first. How far away is the moon anyways? Looks like it's 240,000 miles away from Earth. But the good news is you're going to be able to make it the whole way to the moon without stopping. You won't need to gas up. This is our open number line. On this end of our open number line, I'm going to put a 0. And on the other end of our open number line, I'm going to put a 1. So today, I'm going to be talking about all that space on an open number line between the 0 and the 1. So we're going to be talking about parts of a whole. The first thing we're going to be looking at is one whole. So I'm going to go ahead and label that in here. This is one whole. And another way to think about one whole is 1 out of 1. So of this one part, I have one of them. 1 out of 1 or one whole. Let's take a look at that itinerary again. So you made it to the moon, one whole trip, didn't have to stop once, and now you're headed from the moon all the way to Mars. Oh boy, but Mars is 48 million miles away. You're going to have to stop halfway along your journey to refuel. After that, you'll go the second half of the way, and you'll finally get to Mars. Now find your fraction strip that shows 1/2 and 1/2, making one whole. We're going to lay that on top. And we're going to start our open number line over here with a 0. And this time, I'm going to be thinking about intervals of half. So this is one interval, this is my 1/2 mark. So the distance from the 0 to the 1/2 is worth, or that interval is worth 1/2. And then this interval is worth another 1/2. So at the end here, I have 2 halves. Another way to think of 2 halves is 1 whole. Let's lift up our fraction strip and go ahead and label this space between our marks here on our open number line. This is 1/2, and this is 1/2. 1/2, 2 halves. Okay, Ucan, let's pull out that itinerary of yours. Let's see what we got here. Yes, you'll be leaving Mars, and you'll be heading all the way to Jupiter. Jupiter is huge, and it's also really far away. It's 365 million miles away. You're going to only make it 1/3 of the way before you need to stop and get some more fuel. How many more times are you going to have to stop? Your spacecraft can only make it 1/3 of the way at a time, so it looks like you're going to have to stop one more time, 2/3 of the way there, before you're finally able to make it all the way to Jupiter. Wowzer. I hope you've got some road snacks. Pull out our green fraction strip that shows our whole being partitioned into 3 equal parts. 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. I'll start with 0, and then I'll go ahead and mark my intervals. The distance from 0 to my first interval is 1/3. The distance from 1/3 to my next interval, and see how I'm marking up along the space where it was partitioned, is 2/3. 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, or 1 whole. Go ahead and label the fraction strip above this. The space between this is 1/3. The distance between this is 1/3. And the distance between 2/3 and 3/3 is 1/3. Okay, Ucan. Let's check out the itinerary again. This time, you're leaving Jupiter, and you're headed for Saturn, another very big planet. And wow, Saturn is 402 million miles away. You're only going to be able to make it 1/4 of the distance before you need to stop for some fuel. How many more times are you going to have to stop? I think you're going to have to stop 2 more times, because you can only make it 1/4 of the way each time. I know you need some help. Let's see how people can help us. Using a number line, can you help us figure out how many times Ucan's going to have to stop on his journey? So first you're going to mark a 0 on your number line. Then you're going to line up your fraction strip that has been partitioned into 4s. And last, you're going to mark your number line in intervals of 1/4 until you reach a whole. Hey, the sun wants you to pause so that you can get brighter. Let's pull out our 1 whole that's been partitioned into 4 equal parts. Did you put a 0 at one end of your open number line? And then maybe you marked your intervals. Your first interval is 1/4 of the way to 1 whole. So you mark that and you showed that that was 1/4, because the distance from 0 to that first interval is 1/4 of your whole. Then you marked your second interval, 1/4, 2/4. Because the distance from 0 to that second mark is 2/4. Lining up with that line where we partition our whole, this is 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. And our last one at the 1 whole mark will be 3/4, 4/4. Let's mark our fraction strip. This distance is 1/4. This distance is 1/4. This distance is 1/4. And this distance is 1/4. Hey, Ucan, should we check your itinerary again? Let's pull that guy out. Yep, looks like you're going to be leaving Saturn and heading to Uranus. Whoa. Uranus is 900 million miles away. Your little rocket's only going to make it 1/6 of the way before you need to stop to refuel. Ucan, are you wondering how many more times you're going to have to stop on your journey? I think you might have to stop 4 more times to refuel because you can only go 1/6 of the way at a time. Are you needing our help a little bit too right now? You're feeling a little worried because you're not exactly sure where you're going to be stopping along the way. Guys, can you pull out that number line and help us? Can you see if you can figure out all the stops that Ucan needs to make along his journey? So first, you're going to make a 0 on your number line. Then you're going to pull out that fraction strip that's been partitioned into sixths. Then you'll mark your number line in intervals of 1/6 until you've reached 1 whole. Hey, and the moon wants you to pause so your mind can be full. Okay, let's pull out that yellow hole that's partitioned into 6 equal parts and line her up. Okay, so we know that each one of these parts is worth 1/6 of the whole. Did you mark a 0 at the beginning? And then maybe you marked that second interval 1/6 of the way. 1/6, 2/6, 3/6, 4/6, 5/6, and the very end at our 1 whole mark is going to be 6 out of 6. Then you labeled each of your parts. The distance between the 0 and the first sixth is 1/6. The distance between 1/6 and 2/6 is 1/6. The distance between 2/6 and 3/6 is 1/6. The distance between 3/6 and 4/6 is 1/6. But you can guess the next one. You probably wrote down that the distance between 4/6 and 5/6 is 1/6. And that distance between 5/6 and 6/6 is 1/6.